Hey, put them up, y'all. Hey, put them up. 10 big ones. We back for episode 10. Episode 10 of Yo Hero. We here to do our Thunderbolts review. Y'all seen us do the little, first impressions video. So I'm going to bring in the crew, but we got a special guest tonight. We don't got your average Mac. We got your friendly neighborhood Mac. We got Spider Mac in the house tonight. Hey, what up,
dude? Hold up the team. What up, man? Hold up the team.
Yeah, Big 10. We in here. Yeah, we up one now. Okay. And then, I gotta bring in the one and only Skunkle, the man from FUNKO, Uncle Bird. What up?
What's up, gentlemen? What's up? Number 10.
Yeah, we made it. We made it this far, y'all. Give us some credit. Yeah, let's see who's in the chat tonight. We got Penny K, new channel member. Penny been holding us down, on my Yo Retro show forever and been just holding the channel down. Yeah, she became a channel member, showing much love. That's what's up. Yeah, I appreciate that. So let's get right into it. Y'all know we like
Morbius she had as her avatar.
I don't know. We'll have to ask her when she get in the chat again. But
that looked like Morbius.
Hey, low key did. See, you would know, Spider Mac. You would know.
That is true.
Yeah. But yeah, jump in the chat if y'all want to shout out. Just say yo, say what's up, let us know you're watching, and we'll give you a live shout out. But yeah. First thing on the list for us tonight is, we got this brand new Avengers Endgame Final Battle set from Lego that the pre-orders are up now on Amazon. So Mac, why don't you Spider Mac, why don't you read that banner for the viewers? Can you see that?
Pre-orders for the new logo Avengers Endgame Final Battle set are now available. Does this preview from Amazon and Lego get you?
Whoa, that's crazy. That is crazy.
That is not get Spider Mac bricked up. That pause. That is crazy.
Yeah, man. If you're in the Lego bricks, this new, this Avengers Endgame set is out.
I can't with these goddamn banners.
You can't do
that. My bad. Go ahead.
You're good. Yeah. For me, it don't get me bricked up, but I think it's pretty dope. They got Falcon, flying through in the back, Wanda coming through. You got all the Doctor Strange portals opening up. Giant Man. They even got a Giant Man figure, which is pretty cool. They got Thanos ridiculously big though. Pause. Yeah. That was crazy. But yeah, he's like half the size of Giant Man. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, he's kind of proportioned, right?
But he is a big dude.
He is pretty large. I think it's kind of late for
Dr. Torque in the house.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, late kind of getting to the game of bringing this out. I mean, I think that, I think it's just late to the show.
Spider Mac blew his mind. It's like, what the fuck?
Hitters Entertainment. We out here. What up, hitters? All my hitters. Yeah, I'm with Bird on this one. I feel like, they're a little late to the game.
Yeah, they are. I was gonna say that when it first popped up. Like, ain't they about 2-3 years too late for this Lego set there, buddy?
Yeah, I don't know. you know. But you know, then if you think about it, they do Darth Vader ones and stuff. Darth Vader is like in the 80s, you
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
guess certain stuff can be kind of timeless, you know. And this it's a classic.
Yep.
Yeah, so moving on, you know, we finally got a closer look at this Lego set for Fantastic Four First Steps, you know, because last time we seen it, it was just like the box art, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it's not too bad put together.
He said they giving that away for a Benji.
Is that like Franklin down on his foot? Is that like Franklin crawling on his foot? I mean,
I think that's I think that's the thing.
oh really?
That's why he
Oh
got the
yeah, he's
big,
got the big hands.
yeah, big hands. Yeah.
Oh well, I like the size comparison on that one a lot better, definitely.
Right. The scale between Galactus and the Fan Four is a little bit more accurate than this Thanos one where he's half giant there.
Oh, yeah, he's almost over two times taller than even Captain America and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that Fantastic Four Lego set. I can't cap that. Galactus, just to have it for the Galactus would be kind of
Just the fucking head.
pause. Whoa, that was crazy. Hey, technical foul, sir. Technical foul.
I get the technical. I get the technical.
10 minutes into the show, this guy here.
Yeah, we're 7 minutes in. We're already calling technicals on you. All right, moving on. You know, Funko, we showed off these friendly neighborhood Spider-Man sets on our last show, I believe. Maybe the show before that last. But anyhow, these are some of the exclusives from that lineup that you can only get from Funko, Target, and the last retailer is Entertainment Earth.
Like an online thing, or
I've never heard of Entertainment Earth. I'm not familiar with them.
yeah, that's what I was asking. It's just out of the blue, something different. Like,
The Fantastic Four. We'll talk about that Doctor Torque towards the end, like the end credit scene in our review. But I would say no to that. But yeah, is there one of these figures you guys are interested in or not?
nah, I mean, not I'd go out of my way to get. I think they're pretty cool. I mean, the white.
I would get the Oscar one, the Spider-Man and the Oscar too.
Of course you would, Spider Mac.
Yeah, with the other two, man, I'm not in
it. You're a little biased tonight. I'll just say that. But
yes,
yeah, the Oscorp suit, that's a dope suit. I like that one.
Yeah.
But y'all gotta watch this series, man. My two co-hosts ain't watched this yet. It's pretty good series.
Oh, so these are oh, never mind. I'm not even about to do that to myself this early.
Yeah, these are from that series. Yeah, don't do that to yourself. You embarrass yourself.
Please.
But these are from the Disney Plus series. Go back and watch it on Yo Hero. Check it out.
Hey,
Dr. Torque. Yeah, the Fantastic Four spaceship is fire. Yeah, I like it. It's got that retro futuristic. That's the whole vibes of that movie. All right, moving on, y'all. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Masters of the Universe. Now they brought this line out before, the Turtles of GRAYSKULL. It's like a crossover combo line. And these are some new figures that they're going to be doing pre-orders for. Are you guys familiar with this crossover?
No, I thought it was like a joke thing. Honestly, when you said it to me, I'm like, really? some kind of gimmicky thing or something. But yeah, no, I never heard of it.
No, they actually put these out before. First time I saw them, I was like, "Oh, that's crazy. That's kind of genius." Like, you know what I mean? Those are two of the best action figure lines of all time. I'd argue, like so. Yeah,
I don't know. GI Joe, I think would be pretty close to at that time.
yeah, and these you can get on the Big Bad Toy Store, I guess. That's where they're doing the pre-orders for these. Yeah, what I was trying to do was like figure out the crossovers. Like, who is that foot soldier? Who do you think he's crossed over with?
Oh,
Like, I was trying to figure that out. Like what Masters of
I
the
couldn't tell you.
Universe character.
I mean, Muckman.
It looks like a Ninja
Yeah,
Turtle.
well, no,
But yeah, he's a foot
it's a
soldier.
foot soldier from the Ninja Turtles, but he's crossed over with somebody from Masters of the Universe. And yeah, I was hoping somebody would jump in the chat, let us know, but I'm not too familiar with these more obscure Masters of the Universe characters. I couldn't even tell you who Shredder's supposed to be a crossover with there.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering myself.
Yeah,
And even on the left, I don't.
I'm definitely
The snake dude.
I'm definitely not breaking my neck to top these.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool concept, but I think they might have ran through all their great ideas the first time around because I don't know who these characters even are, except for Shredder or Foot Soldier. Yeah. All right, y'all. So on to the next subject. We have DC Studios putting out a little something, little some brand new photos from your boy Peacemaker. Mac, you excited to see the Chain Gang Soldier back in the role of Chris Smith as Peacemaker?
No, no, I'm not.
Come on. Bird, you said your son really liked the first season, right?
Oh yeah, he loves Peacemaker. I mean, he praises it quite a bit. I'll see it, at some point in time. I'm sure. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Get Spider-Man. Hit his entertainment says get Spider-Man a little liquor and do a
flip.
Hey, Spider-Man, do a flip. I love that dude, bro. He popped up in, I think, like the animated series too. I think he was in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. He says it in that, like as he swings by, and I'm like, bro, I don't know why that shit sounds so funny. He says, do a flip. Dr. Torque says, sorry, not a Masters of the Universe guy. Hidders says first season was good, really entertaining and funny on Peacemaker.
Yeah.
He says,
ain't this old boy that was the villain for Cap? Ain't that the villain from
it looked like Frank Grillo. I don't know if it is though.
No, that's the guy that got his face blew up in the building.
That's what you talking about, Crossbow?
Yeah, Crossbow. That is him.
Yeah, Frank Grillo.
That's the actor that plays him.
Yeah, these are just some shots from this new season. I don't know who these. Good. Yeah, they do look. These last two shots in particular look really dope. Like they're in the future or something. I don't know. They look crazy. Or maybe it's some like dream state he's in, but that looked like some Star Wars shit right there.
He's in some kind of crazy place. I don't know much on him to begin with, but yeah, I think that I'll probably end up seeing it pretty soon, anyways.
Like I told you, I own the first season. I just haven't sat down and watched it yet, but I liked him in James Gunn's Suicide Squad, so that's why I picked up the first season. I was like, yeah, this will probably be pretty good. All right, moving on. You got Sergeant Rock got canceled, or at least it's on hold indefinitely. I'm not familiar with Sergeant Rock. I kind of feel silly. I don't know too
Yeah,
much
me
about.
neither. I don't know nothing about him either. Sounds like
Yeah, I thought I thought he was just like a regular kind of like almost like Nick Fury in the Howling uh, uh, Commandos.
Yeah, that.
I thought that's what he was like, but I never really got into him.
Whoa, that was crazy. Uh,
does he smoke
I,
rock? Because he looks like to me.
yeah, I don't know who this artist is, but it reminds me of like a Jay Lee art or Sam Keith, even like some of that the hair on his chin, the way they drew that. But yeah,
Okay.
Oh, it was a movie. Oh, it was a movie, indefinitely. It looks like.
yeah, it was gonna be a movie under James Gunn's DC Studios banner, and it got canceled. So yeah, like Bird said, I think he was like DC's counterpart to Nick Fury. In a lot of ways, the Howling Commandos. And James Gunn seemed like adamant about, like I said, he's doing a Clayface movie. He's doing these obscure characters. But I guess this got kind of axed along the way. So
I was hoping
goodbye.
it would have been animated. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, they could still do that, I guess. He's got his little, James Gunn's got his little animated series that's based in the DCU. But, yeah, I'm not familiar with this character. It doesn't like it's not a big deal to me that this movie was canceled. I don't think it was gonna make or break DC Studios.
It might have been kind of a little sleeper one that wasn't, like, they only put so much into it, but they got good return on it. Got decent reviews, like a lot of the obscure characters usually do. As far as comic books, they're usually more into them.
Yeah.
Not a big production.
So, like Dr. Torque said, if Peacemaker's on the level of the Penguin, he'll watch it. I would say it's probably not on that level. You know, it's more whimsical. But
Action comedy.
yeah, action comedy. You okay there, Spider Mac? Is
Dark
that
humor.
Can you breathe in that mask?
Yeah, I'm fine, buddy.
Just
Not a
checking.
matter of fact.
Sure. Hey, don't be passing out on us now.
Yeah, so I sent you a chat over there, Uncle Bird. On screen there. There you go. But yeah, Dr. Torque, I would definitely say it's not on the level of the Penguin.
As far as like what with the penguin.
I don't think Peacemaker's on the level of the Penguin. I just don't
The
think
Penguin
it's
Show. Yeah.
it's it would score as high.
Oh yeah, because penguin's more serious. It ain't got as much comedy as the Peacemaker's like action comedy, like you said. It's a lot of funny moments in that.
All right, so you got this leaked image or AI generated image, perhaps, of Robert Downey Jr. in full Doctor Doom getup. Now, I just wanted to ask my co-host and the chat: do y'all think this is legit?
Mm, I don't know. I don't think so.
And I can't say full costume. You can see he ain't got no gloves, but it almost looks like they're trying to hide them. Hide them from somebody taking pictures of him in the mask.
Maybe. Or it might even be a lot of
Well, he's got that
CGI and they're
little
just
left
getting
arm.
like the face with how the hood comes over and stuff like that so they can
What you think, Spider Mac?
So he's got the left metal arm going on. It might be legit though. From the mask to the arm.
You think they're gonna let somebody get that close to the set? Penny says, looks sick, hope it's real.
No,
Dr. Torque says
probably not.
he's needing a big check. Hey, he got a big check. He don't need one. RDJ got a crazy check. Sergeant Rock. You call yourself Sergeant Rock?
Oh,
That's
wow.
crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I'm leaning towards this isn't real. And I don't dislike what I see. Like the mask looks okay. But I'm not sure about that glove, and that don't look like RDJ's hands. It could be a stunt person. I don't know. Almost looks like he's wearing, I don't know, the all black. I'm not sure about any of that. Like, I don't know if that, he would take that off and then put another costume on. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Doctor Doom. Chaotic says Peacemaker's so good. Thought you didn't like superheroes. What's going on? All right, moving on. We do have, this new fan art. Now, this is some fan art that somebody put out, and I thought it was kind of cool, so I just wanted to show it off. And this is the entire announced cast of Doomsday, kind of in their respective costumes, outfits, whatever, cartooned up. But I'm most hyped for Nightcrawler personally. Out everybody there to see him back. And Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, I think yeah, Kelsey Grammer definitely. I guess Gambit just because he's new and how they're going to use him,
Yeah, that's interesting because the whole Deadpool and Wolverine thing, that's what drove them to going, no, we're putting him in our movie.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. So
they're just trying to tie everything into each other and make sense of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of each of the different, kind of iterations of it and bring them all into one.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how all this is going to play out. Chaotic says Suicide Squad, that Peacemaker times 20. Okay, in the series, that's interesting. Yeah, I liked him in the movie. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this was just some cool art.
I like it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and
I like the people who like the character. I like the cast. They got it.
Yeah, it's a fire cast. And just they played off the whole Marvel chairs thing too with the art, which was dope.
Yeah, but there's still some chairs missing.
So then the Avengers Doomsday cast took a break from filming, and they all sat down and watched Thunderbolts like we did last weekend.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you'll see, oh, he didn't realize he wasn't watching live. You're good. Yeah. So they all sat down and watched Thunderbolts last weekend. You can see they're throwing a technical file up. They've been watching the show. They know about Yo Hero.
They know Bird's always getting these. Uncle Bird's always getting technical files. They know.
they know.
So you are the king of technical files.
It made me really proud to see the Avengers crew been watching Your Hero throwing up the T for us, the technical file. They know what we do
That's
over
me.
here.
Hey, but Shang-Chi look a little malnourished. I don't know.
You better chill out. Spider-Man with your mouth all in the camera.
He look like he need to eat a couple of cheeseburgers. So does Wanda. Look like she been hitting a pipe.
Spider-Man, get your neck out the camera. All right, so we got this new Avengers logo got revealed. What do y'all think about this?
That might have
Mac,
should have been the original. That might have should have been the original logo.
you think that should have been the? You like this more than the logo with the arrow through it?
Yeah. Personally.
Or- I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of fond of the old Avengers logo. I like that a little bit more, but I do
This ain't
like
too bad.
I do like this logo, and my main reason for saying I like this logo is it reminds me of the Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it was supposed to kind of represent. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. You know,
Yeah. I'll give it 2 thumbs up. Two Spider-Man thumbs up.
double thumbs, double thumbs.
We got them thumbs up.
Dr. Torque said it's shiny. It
It
is
is
shiny.
shiny. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, I think it just pays homage to the Avengers Tower, Stark Tower, but I think it's got a dark look to it, so we might see them turn into the Dark Avengers. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a possibility, but I don't know if it's that dark. I mean, I just with the red behind it. I mean, the red's a little dark, but it's metal.
It's sharp though. It's got sharp edges, kind of like that's meant to imply, you know what I mean?
Like dangerous.
And it's like got the dark line through the A.
Yeah. I'm just saying in contrast to the old school, soft edge kind of Avengers logo.
No, I mean, I'm not saying they're not going to do a Dark Avengers, but I just don't see that really being their logo. I think because how everything's coming together, that's just what it's going to end up being.
I could see that being the A in the dark and the Avengers on their poster. Double whammy, double A.
Oh man,
Dark Avengers, son. I'm just saying I could see it. I could see it happening because like look how they did their twist on the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts wasn't like the comics, so I could see them, having like a anti spin-off of them, maybe where they have their own inner civil war where Ghost and a couple past villains just decide to go villain, and Bucky and a couple of them decide like we can't do that, and then they just become like the West Coast Avengers.
I don't know about all that, but I think that I think use it for both of them. They both might end up, kind of, splitting off and against each other. I don't know.
This is kind of their color palette, Dr. Torque. But you see that yellow on our banner? That's really like the Thunderbolts color. At least for the film, they used it in all the media. But
true.
Moving on. Like we said, the cast of Avengers. This is when they sat down and watched that Thunderbolts movie. So they got to watch it like in the editing bay of probably the Doomsday editing bay.
Nice.
And Mac, Shang-Chi don't look like no punk right there.
That's because he got that hoodie on.
That's because he got the hoodie on. His arms low key swole, bro. You know who looked malnourished? Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd looking rough right there next to the rest of them.
Ant-Man looking like he might be a little messed up.
Yeah, a little bit. Nah, I ain't gonna say that. He just looked like the gym's kicking his ass right now, like trying to get back in shape. Robert Downey, you see, he got the short kind of buzz cut too. That's trippy to me. Like he gonna wear a wig as Doom?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hard to say.
Y'all heard it here first. He might wear a wig as Doctor Doom.
That is crazy.
That's exclusive. You can't get that nowhere else.
Okay.
Wigging it.
Yeah. So moving on. New Avengers go public after the Thunderbolts cinematic debut. So now Marvel's going all over with all this. The same promo they had Thunderbolts all over and just rebranding it as the New Avengers for the public eye to see. This is low key unprecedented, in the movie space. Like I didn't know if they were gonna do a whole new like rollout to where they just rename the film.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they're rebranding it.
Well, I mean, they did have the asterisks there, so I mean, it kind of told you that was like, yeah, maybe. So I mean, I see him throw the monkey wrench into things. So I think it's it is what it is. But I almost kind of
But
like
why
it
do they
just
got
because
Bob
they're
like
trying.
peeking in all the fucking posters? He's peeking, like, especially that middle one. He's like, all you see is his forehead, his nose, and his hair. That's crazy.
Who we talking about?
Bob.
Bob, yeah, Bob, yeah. Bob's always like photobombing them in the background.
Well, he's always hiding behind him, is what it is. Like, what's going on? I don't want to.
Yeah. But like I said, I didn't know if they were just going to rebrand the whole movie and just like, so when you pulled up to the theater, now it says the New Avengers, because this public rollout was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think I seen a thing where the Winter Soldier was
New
going
bolts.
around in
The
New
new
York or in
bolts.
LA and just posting it in different places.
Well, this is them like literally painting the new logo on top of the old promo on the side of that building in Los Angeles.
That's crazy.
And that's the same building when they finished.
I don't know how I feel about the Thunderbolts being the new Avengers.
I'm glad you brought that up. So, chat, how y'all feel about the Thunderbolts being a new Avengers? Mac, give me some of your thoughts about that. Are you upset about it?
Well, first of all, yeah, I'm upset. I'm pissed off about it because the simple fact of how they did Taskmaster, and she's all on the goddamn poster. So it's really got me pissed off, actually.
Well, like Dr. Torque says, you got to
But
bring
I'll get
people.
more into that when we
Dr. Torque
need to
says,
fill those seats. I get it, but
yeah, you got to bring in new blood, kind of, And they got to generate money out of this. They got to keep new faces coming in these franchises.
You
So,
also got, I think you also got to think too is that I mean they're kind of doing like some kind of reset where everything's coming together. So they're the new Avengers for as long as they're the new Avengers for, and then whatever happens after they decide this kind of multiversal thing,
yeah.
see where everybody ends up. So I mean it's a temporary thing. I don't think it's that important.
Well, besides like Bob, these is like some low level bum Avengers. If you ask me, like as far as like
Okay.
powers, besides like, I'm just being honest. That's my opinion on them. Like,
Right. Yeah, you're
Bravo.
saying in contrast to the OG Avengers, Cap, Thor, Hulk,
Yeah,
Iron Man, the heavy hitters,
come
right?
on, man.
Well,
Like,
you do have the Sentry.
yeah,
You
like
do
come
have
on,
the
bro.
Sentry. You can't use them, but you do
I
have
mean,
them.
technically, yeah,
Yeah,
they got.
I said besides Bob.
All right, well,
I did say.
still
I just said
you got you
besides
got
Bob.
you got the Red Guardian, who's pretty much got like Cap like powers. You got Bucky, who's got Cap like
Yeah,
powers. You got Paul Walker, who's got Cap like
yeah,
powers. So you got like 3 Caps almost.
yeah.
So you got
Got your Black Widow.
and then you got your Black Widow there, yeah. And then you got Ghost who can go through face the
Yeah,
wall.
she's got power.
But
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying. They ain't got vision, you know what I mean? Like they don't have them heavy hitters the
like
OG
yeah,
Avengers
bro,
had. But
like
with that
at
said,
least
what at least what?
like in
Say
my opinion, like the young Justice League would destroy the new Avengers. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
maybe, yeah, probably. But that's the thing. Who's in the young Justice League?
Which version?
Superboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's multi. Pick anyone. Pick anyone. Pick any version you want.
I don't know. Now with Sentry and the Void as the Void, bro. I
Yeah.
don't know about that. I
Well,
don't.
that's different. That's different. That's a whole nother
Well, it's
thing.
not different. If he's a part of this team, it's not that different.
But
You know,
they can't control him. He ain't got no control when he's the void though. So
for now,
that's kind
yeah.
of
But he's still, I think, strong as Sentry. He was stopping all them bullets as a Sentry.
yeah.
I mean, he learned pretty quick. I mean, it wasn't like he was.
Oh yeah, he did. He
learned how to
did. He
do it.
did. He did.
He could,
He
but
did.
if
Like I
he
said.
gains control, regardless, he's dangerous as fuck, and he could wipe
Yeah.
out a whole young Justice League.
Yeah.
Sentry.
Yeah, he could.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry about
shit.
that.
I
But
thought I was
yeah,
gonna make it.
this was the whole rollout, though. The new Avengers rolled out.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I said.
Crazy.
I seen he was going up, putting up new posters. And Sebastian
That's
Stan.
crazy. This
Yeah,
is
so
funny though. Why you
overly done, but yeah.
So why they didn't do this like
I think
before the
it's
movie?
I think because it's a
Like
marketing
why
plan.
Oh,
I mean, they
It's a marketing thing. It's smart marketing in a lot of ways. They put the movie out. All the people that weren't interested in it as Thunderbolts are now gonna go, oh wait, they're the new Avengers. Why didn't I go see this? It's smart on their part. I don't
yeah,
have
so I was
it's
gonna
just
say, oh, well, you want to go see it? Oh, they got a new
just
Avengers
random.
movie.
Can you guys not talk at the exact same time? Take turns.
Yeah. Like I was saying, I think that, people who are not as familiar but know Marvel movies will just be like, oh, there's a new Avengers movie. Let's go see that. And like Thunderbolts is, obscure, where they already have a well known IP to, push on the people.
I just think it's
Yeah,
extra cash.
it's an extra cash grab. I mean, I'm not going to argue against that. I mean, but that's smart marketing, regardless. Whether if it's a cash grab, that's exactly what marketing is
Yeah,
about:
it
is
is.
grabbing cash. I mean, and if as we get into our review, I mean, it just goes along with the film, so I don't have a major issue with it. I think it's pretty smart. I'm not really. I think it's kind of goofy that Sebastian Stan walked up and there was already tape at the top of this bus stop waiting on him to hang the poster.
There's someone behind him flipping. Yeah. I think there's someone behind it.
There was already, no, I don't see feet down there. There was already tape waiting if you watch as he walks up waiting on him. He just pulled the tape down, hung his poster, and then acted like, yeah, that was a good idea. All right, I did good. He's out of there. But
I'm happy to be Avengers now, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would be. I don't know about Sentry being more powerful than Superman, though. Well, I didn't say that. I just said he's comparable to Superman. So to say he can't take out like a young Justice League on his own is kind of crazy because he arguably could. Yeah. So
But there's a young Superman in the young Justice League. Did you know that? Did you know that, buddy?
did I know that?
Superboy's in the
Yeah,
young Justice League.
Superboy,
Yeah,
but
Superboy.
he ain't Superman. Like, bro, he's going against the Sentry. Who I'm just saying,
Or Superman Prime.
Yeah.
he's Superboy. There's a difference.
Yeah. He's still
Penny said, "What about Bob?"
Bob.
What about
He got
Bob?
those Avengers powers.
That's a different. What about Bob? Isn't that Billy Crystal or something? Or no,
No.
Bill
Murray?
Murray. Bill Murray.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So what we gonna do is what we came here to do. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know, if y'all seen Thunderbolts, hop in the chat. Let us know what you thought about it. But yeah. So this movie opened up kind of with Yelena, having a inner monologue with herself. Talking about how she felt a void and she felt an emptiness. And you see her do that dive off the building. They showed over and over. Parachutes to another roof. Goes in there, just starts Black Widow style fucking up all these guys, and yeah. And then, she got a dude tied up, and then, you find out it's not an inner monologue. She's actually having this conversation with the hostage she has. And yeah, she was talking about having a void she needed filled. And I leaned over to Mac in the theater, and what I say to you, Spider Mac.
I think you said you'd fill her void if she needs.
Spider Mac, that's disgusting. I didn't say that. I would never say such.
I'm pretty sure it was something along those lines. I was laughing my ass off. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was something along those lines.
I don't know about that Spider Mac, but
yeah,
and
I'd fill her void for her like I did.
And then I would never. And then next thing I know, pretty much rather quickly the story kind of moves along, right? Would you did you guys,
Well, I thought the beginning was pretty, they already had pretty much most of that scene played out anyways, already online. So it was kind of, all right, let's get this something, going on. And then as, she's having her little crisis or whatever and start seeing the other guys get, involved, then they get their, goes right into, their pretty much their mission of, killing each other or whatever.
yeah, like that's what I was kind of getting at. Like
they were set up.
They were what?
They were like set up because they were sent to that damn bunker to like off each other, basically.
Yeah, well, we found out that Val basically, was trying to wipe her ledger clean, get the red out of her ledger kind of deal, like Black Widow was. She was trying to wipe the slate clean, get rid of all her assassins at once. So this is where the Thunderbolts all meet up at. And we've seen that scene all throughout the trailers. That's the scene here where they're all scrapping with each other. And you kind of get to see all of them using their abilities at each other. But literally in no time, they kill one of the first Thunderbolts with a bullet to the brain.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me. Like, and I'll be honest.
20 minutes movie.
Nah, I wasn't. And I'll be honest. Like, I personally believe it or not, I know a lot of people didn't like Taskmaster and Black Widow. I didn't necessarily like that interpretation of Tony Masters, but you know, I, I wanted to see her redemption arc, and I didn't get to see that on screen. Like I wanted to see them redeem Taskmaster in the MCU in a way. Like, okay, maybe y'all weren't really feeling her in Black Widow. We're gonna give her a shot to like kick ass in this new Thunderbolts movie and make people appreciate Taskmaster a little bit more, right? And that's not what happened. She got a bullet in her fucking dome off the rip. And we all kind of suspected that because she wasn't in any of this footage except for that first fight scene, here on this mountain.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of along the lines of what I was going to say was that we expected it, but it was just like the way it happened, the way she just kind of phased into it and got. Yeah, that was pretty cold. It was just like, oh, like
Dr.
that.
Torque, you said I the film dropped out of Marvel films after Quantumania. I don't know. Quantumania, you didn't like Quantumania?
No, he didn't. He wasn't feeling the goofiness. He said,
Oh, wow.
but he enjoyed
Yeah.
Thunderbolts, which is a plus. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Dr. Torque, let me know in the chat. Do you feel like Marvel's at least on? Do you think they're on their way back? You know what I mean? Are they getting back to their roots a little bit with this movie? But yeah, like for me, like I said, I was pissed off about the Taskmaster thing because it just and then on top of that, like if you know that character's story, like if you take her story from MCU, I'm not talking about the comics, like that's kind of tragic, right? Like this girl went through all this abuse from her father and all this stuff. And then the Black Widow kind of program and the brainwashing. And then at the end of Black Widow, they free her. And then, she took that little red smelling salt shit and it woke her up. And then, she's kind of free. And then we see she's back working, doing assassin work for Val, apparently, because she's here at the fight scene. And then she just gets her brains blown out. So I don't know, man. I think that was a tragic way to do that character. I think they could have found somebody else to
Yeah.
kill off like that. They could have found a lesser
Yeah.
character from somewhere just to throw him in there and have him get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
or at least it wasn't the Century, killing her or something like that.
Yeah, but she still got a bullet between her eyes, bro. Like,
Um,
and it was quick. It was like Max said, not even 15 minutes into the movie. Probably it felt like. Dr. Torque says he thinks Marvel's on the path back to, getting back to where they were. More character development, less joke, punch, fight, pun. Yeah, it was definitely no Thor Love and Thunder. You know what I mean? It was way more serious in tone, but it had the jokes when it was needed, kind of. Like Red Guardian was kind of the
The
comic
joking motherfucker, the whole movie. He was hilarious.
yeah, he absolutely was. Spider Mac, I agree 100. Red Guardian had the whole theater laughing when we were watching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they have this battle. Taskmaster gets killed, and then they all kind of realize they're trapped in this situation. And then they do that weird spider crawl walk all the way back up to land, right? They break out of this place. With the help of Ghost. I was kind of surprised Ghost kept helping them.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple times she could have got out on them and just dipped.
Yeah. But she pretty much was. Go ahead, Bert.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think she was trying on a real redemption mark, our arc for her character, because she's still kind of, emotionless, but she's like, inside, I think she's trying to care or whatever, and she's like, "Well, why wouldn't you think I would help you?" I mean, just you got that feel for her every time she looked at somebody when they said, "We didn't think you were coming back for us" or whatever. She just kind of looked at them like,
But I
I
kind
could
of
do
I kind
that.
of got that vibe from her, even from fucking the Ant-Man movie, like when she was in that, like she was on that path, like after they helped her stop fucking phasing, like you know what I mean? Like she kind of was like on that path to me in that movie. You know what I mean? At the end of that movie, so I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, she started to at the very end of it, right? So
Yeah,
but still, like, she had no ties to these people, so I thought she might have
yeah,
dipped on them. I wouldn't have been surprised if she dipped on them and they had to find their own way out without her, at one point. But
right.
yeah, so it's hard to even call Taskmaster a member of the Thunderbolts. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, at this
Because she,
point, yeah, it is.
yeah, because
It really is.
she wasn't even there when they mentioned the name.
Yeah, she wasn't.
And you find out in this movie they're not named after General Thunderbolt Ross. They're named after Yelena Belova's old soccer team.
yeah. Never won a game. Never
Never
won
won
a
a game.
game.
Yeah, let's not forget that they never won a game.
They were really bad.
Yeah, yeah, they
Boy,
never
this
won a single
motherfucker was
game.
sending people to the void, boy. That was crazy.
So, there's some comic book people that are upset about that. And I can see why, like there's a big deviation between the MCU Thunderbolts and the Marvel Comics Thunderbolts that are, under Thunderbolt Ross, right? And this
Mhm.
is, this is a whole MCU spin-off kind of version. But with that said, I I really thought it was dope, bro. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. And I could see why Dr. Torque has more an appreciation for this than like Quantum Mania and stuff like that. It's a little more Mission Impossible or slash, I don't know, any 80s, 90s action kind of flick. You could have took the superhero costumes out of this and made these guys just all like expendables kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Action flick
Yeah,
stars, and it would have still worked pretty much, minus the century, at the end.
yeah.
But
That's true. I agree with that.
yeah, it had a
I
kind of
enjoyed the movie though.
smoking aces vibe in the beginning, where it's all the assassins trying to kill each other.
right, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm sure they got some inspiration from a lot of old school films on this, It's not just a Suicide Squad rip-off film because they're not just popping their heads if they go too far out of a perimeter or something, or they don't follow an order. It's more like they're coming to terms with that they were all set up at the same time and they want to go confront Val about it, you know. And in the process of them confronting Val, Century kind of gets brainwashed by Val.
Yeah.
yeah,
I would say that. I mean, he's obviously manipulated pretty easily because I thought he was super tight
Except
with
for
Yelena.
Well, I I
yeah,
I I think I think though because you seen what a little bit of like they said, or I think they showed like his when he was a kid and stuff like that when they went inside, when he went inside people's head, it was like he was he was never encouraged. He was always down upon. So all that praise she was giving him, I think, was reinforcing his belief in himself. And he's like, oh yeah, because he was trying to improve himself with this thing. He knew there was something messed up. So.
Hmm.
I think that all that praise was a big part of it, gave him confidence.
Mac, what you think?
Spider Man.
Interest, Interesting. I think the mask is getting to him, y'all.
no, it's not. Like I said, I just think because beside the Red Patriot, like he was the only one that Val didn't like set up. He just wanted to get back to being a hero. You know what I mean? He was the only one because remember when she went to visit him at his house and he was just chilling. He was ready and waiting to get back to action. But I don't know. Oh, like I said, I agree with you, Six. I think she did brainwash him, but like Bird said, she was just encouraging him, trying to get him to be on her side. And she didn't even know like he was even alive or that he was like her project. I think like her other attempts had all died besides him, besides Bob, which was crazy. And he just woke up in that damn mountain because they were fighting each other.
Yeah, and then
Wasn't even like
they kind of alluded to like similar comic book origins for him. Like he had drug issues, right, Bert?
Yeah,
You said he was a druggie on our last episode, right?
yes, he
He's a
was.
junkie.
Well, he did that to deal with the schizophrenia.
he did have a job as a chicken. He was on meth. He said, I was on meth.
Yeah, they didn't even allude to it. Yeah, what am I talking about? They had Bob in a chicken suit
On meth.
talking about he was on meth.
That chicken wanted to fight too.
Because at first I'm seeing that I'm like, is this some Family Guy tie-in? I'm not understanding. Like, is Peter Griffin about to walk in and kick this chicken's ass?
Oh, he said it way earlier than they showed it.
Oh,
I must have missed that part.
I think because I think it was him and Elena were talking, throughout their little escapade getting out of there and stuff like that. And sometime in there, yeah, she kind of told or he told her that, So yeah, and then you seen it.
So like he pulled her to the side and he told her that he used to wear a chicken suit, or he pulled her to the side and said he used to do meth. Which one?
Both. He used to wear a chicken suit on meth, pretty much,
That's crazy, Bob. I never thought I would see that in a Marvel Disney movie, but a guy in a chicken suit.
Oh, that shit was.
Or let aside.
Yeah, that was crazy. So you see when Bob, after he goes full century mode, stopping bullets and all that in midair, and let's talk about this. That was, in my opinion, the best scene in the entire movie when they get in here and actually go face to face with the Century, and he melts Bucky's gun like right in his hand, and he's just throwing Red Guardian out the window, and bro, that was a sick scene right there.
Yeah, it was. It was one of the best scenes in the movie.
Dude, I mean, it was just like way overpowering. Just like you guys don't even understand it. Like there's no chance, like at all, ever. You guys can't touch me.
I don't even know if the original OG fucking Avengers could have fucked with Bob a century. I don't know. They didn't have problems.
At that point, probably not.
Yeah, bro. The way he was looking when they was all throwing their hardest punches at his face, and he was just like unbothered, bro.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And you could see like he really didn't want to kill them.
No.
He just was kind of like annoyed with them, like they were flies, bro. Just
yeah.
I think that that in this scene here where they first all met up was kind of like the best, in my opinion, the best two like action kind of scenes,
Oh yeah. I mean,
because it was scary. It was scary when he was turning people into shadows. That shit was scary, bro. Like, I'm like, this is worse than the Thanos snap. This motherfucker just turning people into shadows. Like,
yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah, like what really got me was when he got that little girl, bro. When Red Guardian saved that little girl, and he was so happy to be the hero and get that moment where he was like the Wheaties box guy all over again, and he could be the action figure kind of superhero he always wanted to be, and he knew everyone seen him save this little girl, and then boom, she turns to a shadow. I'm like, no. That legit made my heart drop. I was like, you got to be kidding me, bro. because it was just this heartwarming moment, bro, where he saved this little girl and then boom, she's gone, bro.
Well, it was also
Yeah,
after a series of everybody kind of, chipping in to save different people in different ways and stuff as they're coming in. And then to have that happen, yeah, it was like, oh, dude, I did dirty. Got all, them being heroes and then just that.
Yeah, that was wrong, bro. Because they took time to let you see that little girl was saved and the glimmer in her eye when she was looking up at this big hero, the Red Guardian, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, bro, that was
then
wholesome
boom,
crazy.
she was a
So,
shadow. She was dumb.
yeah. So I will say, my son was saying, like, going into the movie, that he was like, I really hope there's not the way they resolve this isn't by this isn't you, Bob moment, and I was like, bro, it's gotta be. I told him in the car on the way there, like, it's gotta be. There's no way this cast of heroes can stop the Century or the Void. So
Yeah.
there's no way other than talking him out of it.
Yeah.
So
You're
I
right,
kind
bro.
of
You're right.
yeah, and I kind of knew that was gonna happen. I'm not upset about it. Realistically, they can't fuck with the Century, so they had to kind
Not at all.
of they had to kind of win Bob over. Talk Bob off the ledge.
Definitely.
Or offer him some meth, something to calm him down.
The OGs would, like I said, even the OG Avengers would have problems fucking with Bob or the Century or the Void. Like that shit wouldn't have been easy. They'd had to fly Professor X and like get in his mind or something. I don't know. They definitely would have had problems though.
No. The mind meld is the Vulcans on Star Trek.
I don't know about that. I'll be
I wouldn't
honest.
say the time.
You got a little too
I'd say
nerdy
the
even for
mind
me
meld.
on that one.
Maybe
Who?
slightly.
Me or Bird?
At this point, both of y'all. I'm gonna be honest.
Thanks.
Both of y'all. At this
All
Both
point.
of us now. You've just joined my club.
That is
Thanks,
crazy.
Spider. Thanks, Spider Mac.
Thanks, Spider-Man.
I'm just saying, who would have been able to stop him, bro? Even out of the
So
OG Avengers, knowing
let,
none of
let,
that.
let's go down the lineup of the cast in this, on as we break down our final review. I'm gonna, go in order of the cameras here. Spider Mac, then Bird. So Spider Mac, how'd you feel about Yelena Belova in this movie? Did you think she owned the role? She killed it? What do you think?
She owned the role. Yeah, she killed it. She was very depressed at the beginning of the movie, but then she turned it around by the end. But yeah, I definitely took advantage of her in her moment of vulnerability.
Whoa,
Yes,
that got dark. All right. Spider Mac, we didn't ask for all that. Simmer it
hey.
down.
You asked the question. My answer.
I'm gonna ask Bird Dog now. Hopefully, I don't have to throw out a technical. Bird Dog, how'd you feel about Yelena Belova?
No, I thought she did a good job at portraying the character as a Black Widow, and as her even her struggles through what deciding is being a hero going to fulfill her or not now. So I think it was her becoming the new Black Widow in a sense, you know
Yeah,
going
She
forward
was.
maybe
She
with the new Avengers.
I like that point you brought up because that reminded me of in the film when Red Guardian kind of was trying to coerce her to be more like Natasha, right? Be more like the Black Widow, get that dopamine, from saving people. Be a hero like your sister. He was kind of telling her. So yeah, I liked her story arc. I've actually liked her since the Black Widow film. I thought she was kind of like a highlight of that movie. And I'm glad Marvel, because in the comics, she's a minor kind of side character, and I'm really glad, like, just, Florence Pugh brought her all to this role, and she's really killing it. And I just, as much as the new Avengers aren't the old OG Avengers. I really like her, and I want to see more of her. Moving forward in the MCU.
Well,
I like,
if you haven't noticed, Marvel seems to get more character development sometimes out of the lesser characters than you see out of the big time heroes and stuff like that. I
yeah.
just think
Sometimes their D-list, C-list characters end up better than the A-list characters. In the MCU. So moving on. How'd y'all feel about Red Guardian, Spider Man?
well,
He was awesome, man. He was fucking hilarious. He was awesome. He was awesome from the time he pulled up on him, hitting the horn, like through the whole goddamn movie. He was just hilarious. When
Yeah.
she went to his apartment, he said his house, and he was, he did. I think he was good. He was great.
I don't know. You went to the bathroom, and I don't know. I think you missed the scene where like they were just like way out in the desert, bro, and he just pulls up on them with his limo, honking the horn, waving his hands, bro. I was dying, bro. She's just keeping her head down, like they needed to be saved by somebody, and he was the last person she wanted to be seen in public with, and she wasn't even in public. She's like in the desert. But yeah, bro, I think he David Harbour, he really does own this role as a Red Guardian. Like, it's low key a role he was born to play. Like, a lot of people say that about Chris Evans as Cap or Robert Downey as Iron Man. But I feel like Red Guardian, bro, David Harbour, he's a better Red Guardian than he is a Hellboy.
oh, definitely.
Dr. Torque says Red Guardian was a gem. I agree. He was hilarious, So we all agree on that. So
I thought that I mean, I'm not a big fan of like David, but I think that in this role it suited the film. It suited him in this not so serious superhero. Trying to reclaim his glory
You're
and
not a
stuff.
big.
Not a big fan, no. I just
So you don't like the actor? You said
yeah. I mean, the Hellboy was awful, man. It was.
you got a
It
personal
wasn't.
beef
It
with
wasn't that, well, I can't say awful. It just was. Eh.
yeah, it wasn't great. Uh Moving on, Bucky Barnes. How'd you feel about Bucky Barnes, Spider Man?
I
Oh
mean,
my god.
as I liked him better as I liked him better as the fucking superhero than as the senator in the suit.
Right. So you liked him
Personally.
more fighting than you did in thank you. That was very deep there, Spider Man.
No problem.
Uncle Bird, what'd you think?
Oh no, Sebastian does a good job at Bucky. Even both roles he played. I mean, he was very seldom in the suit. It was just kind of him in certain situations trying to get information and starting to go through back channels again, getting back into what he used to do, being kind of a spy assassin type thing to figure out what was really going on to get Valentina.
Well, it's weird, right? Because Bucky just kind of like he just went like in the public eye. He's into politics. He kind of just won the public. He was a former assassin that killed Tony Stark's parents, and
Russian.
now right, and now, well, yes, he was a Russian assassin, but he was a U.S. citizen before that. So now to have him come back and be a political figure, I feel like he had to do a lot of, all his work as an Avenger, so on and so forth, kind of played into the public voting for him, right? But
Well, they knew about his story too, so I think there was a lot of sympathy there that they felt, this Brooklyn kid, and
they
he
knew
went
he
through
was
all this.
brainwashed, all that, right?
He was brainwashed into becoming a killer.
But at the same time, he was dealing with that, right? Like when you seen him in Civil War and all that, he was like a broken man, right? And he didn't even trust himself. And in this movie, you're starting to see him almost take on that Captain America kind of mantle he took, or at least go towards that path. He's stepping into a leadership
Yeah.
role a little bit more because he was pushing the Thunderbolts to come together and take down Val. So I liked Bucky Barnes' depiction in this. I thought you seen a lot of character progression out of him.
Well, he was
Yeah,
when
from
he was in
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, true.
when he was in WW2, he was an officer too. So it's not like he hasn't taken a leadership role before. So he does have those experiences. He's just better trained now with better enhancements.
Yeah. And like Penny noticed, Bucky's on that 1250 Harley Davidson, the new joint. I didn't know
And
that.
that
Well,
is Morbius. That's our avatar. That's definitely Morbius right there. That is Morbius. Just wanted to point that out.
so what'd you think of Ghost, Mac?
She just was like, she was just, to me, she was more of a good guy in this movie compared to the role she played in Ant-Man. Like, and with her power, like she has a more control over her abilities, and yeah, she just pretty much, like I said, she just pretty much came in playing off the character she played at the end of Ant-Man.
Bird, what
But
you
she was
think
cool
about
though.
her?
Oh, well, I think she's a character because she didn't really do a lot of speaking or anything. Maybe a few kind of clapbacks or stuff like that. But I think she was more with the way she was portrayed, her actions of going back and saving them when she didn't have to, or getting certain things when she didn't have to. And I think that she proved herself more than a lot of the talking that a lot of the other characters ended up doing or taking a lot of the screen time. So, her facial expressions, when she's being talked to in certain situations, I think you got more from that for like a physical acting than actually, her lines.
Now, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I liked her in the movie, and I liked her in Quantum Mania. I didn't have an issue with her. Um, but I just felt like she didn't. She probably got the least amount of lines, like you said, besides Taskmaster, of course, which we already kind of gave our. Well, I guess I didn't get your guys' impressions on that, but yeah, that was my only issue with Ghost. Is she didn't have a lot of speaking lines. She had a lot of just like side eyes and facial expressions. I felt like she made, but her big moments were mostly like couple phasing moments.
Mm.
When they were breaking out primarily of that when they were first fighting the first fight scene primarily. But Taskmaster, Spider Mac, what'd you feel about that? You felt underused? You're glad she's dead? How do you feel about Taskmaster?
I felt she was underused, and I'm not glad that she's dead because I think she would have fit in better as one of the new Avengers than getting a bullet between her head 15 minutes into the movie. Like that was just ridiculous to me. Like that was like you said, they could have put a lesser character in that in there to die in that room with them besides her.
Bird.
Um, I wasn't happy with the portrayal of what Taskmaster was, or not being Tony Masters or anything, but it was kind of raw what they just did to the name of the Taskmaster to me. I don't think she, I think they could have used her better. Um, I mean, you got pretty much three characters from the Black Widow movie, and you know Bucky and Ghost. So I mean, it's like most of these characters you've seen together already, just in different instances and different capacities and stuff. So a lot of them kind of knew of each other more. She's kind of the oddball out, where they know of her, but they've never really dealt with her or had the history that they had between them. So I don't know what they could have done besides I don't know. Besides killing her, I just wish it would have been like Sentry or something. She would have been taken out, more spectacularly. Like she got a shot in where he's like he wasn't expecting, and just like boom, wiped her out or something.
Yeah, so I pretty much gave my thoughts, but I will say, like, I feel like Marvel could have did more to like green screener in some of these later fight scenes, or even that elevator shot there to kind of like fool the audience a little bit, you know, by having her in that only one scene in the trailers. Fan speculation was already rampant across the internet that she wasn't going to make it out of that first scene. So I wish like they got a habit of faking things in the trailers, like in Spider-Man Homecoming, they had Iron Man and Spider-Man swing, Iron Man flying through the city, Spider-Man swinging right beside him. That wasn't in the movie. They had Infinity War, they had Green Hulk running next to the Avengers ready to battle, and that never happened in the movie. So it's like they'll trick us with stuff that's not in the movie sometimes, but this was a perfect instance for them to do that and subvert expectations by killing her right at the beginning if you thought she was in the rest of the movie, all the other scenes, and I don't know, there's just a lot of group photos of the cast without her in it. So it makes me feel she kind of was like, well, fuck it, I'm dead, I'm out of here, I'm not doing all the extra work. But maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, who knows? Maybe she had something else. She didn't want to do it anymore. She didn't like whatever the actress for it. So I mean, you don't even know that where it's like she really didn't want to do much of it anyways, or she had something scheduling problem. So they figure, okay, well we only got her for this one last movie. We'll get rid of her and do a Taskmaster later probably.
So let me ask y'all, how do y'all feel, Spider Mac? How you feel about Paul Walker, U.S. agent in this movie? He needs to process it. Takes him a little
He
bit.
was pretty much. It showed more of his backstory of why, like, I don't know. He was a piece of shit. Like he had been in the Falcon Soldier series. He was
Mac,
pretty much a scumbag.
Max got so much
He
to
was pretty
say.
much what he was been.
The moment I end the stream, he's got so much to say about this shit. But yeah, here's what I'll say. I'll say about Paul Walker. I feel like, I thought it was really dope that he kind of like at the beginning, he was trying to push this like, I'm a true American hero kind of guy. I got a family and all this on the team. And then they come to find out later on, his broad left him and took the kid. Like it humanized him in a lot of ways, like we already know he's a piece of shit if you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but you kind of get to see a little bit more of that. And I always kind of go to the fact, like, people that don't like U.S. agent as Paul Walker, the U.S. agent, Paul Walker, is that his name? I feel like I'm saying John Walker. I'm like bringing up the Fast and Furious characters. But yeah, I feel like, John Walker, like, the reason why fans don't like him is because he plays that character so good. He's such a polar opposite of Chris Evans, Steve Rogers. Like, that he plays that character so good, that's why you dislike him. You know what I mean?
He definitely has that douchebag
That's
looking
true.
face.
I agree with that.
I mean, he always got that like kind of just that look like like he's just ready to do something grimy.
Like he's from Douchebagistan.
Yeah, King of Douchebagistan. Yeah, that kind of thing going on.
So
I think
I'll take this down. What you think? What you think?
No, I thought it was a good movie. I mean, but like I said that day, I think it's definitely watchable again, entertaining. They threw in some surprises, but this that ghost reveal through like everybody just got it right away. It was like, well, that would have been an interesting surprise if you didn't know beforehand. Like, oh shit, and just like,
Yeah. I think for me it was a return to form for Marvel in a lot of ways. Like this is I enjoyed this movie, I laughed throughout it, the action was dope. Um, and I'm not super attached to these characters all like that. So I kind of feel like, it was a surprise for me. And that's why I was looking forward to this movie so much, because it felt like something a little different, out the Marvel toolbox. And
Mm.
felt like they was just they were trying something new. And I heard a quote from the guy that plays US agent, and he said like his whole the cast whole focus was to like disprove everyone, like all the non-believers, they wanted to turn into believers. That was their goal, was like, hey, we know we're not the OG Avengers, we know y'all don't like us as much as the Guardians, we know we're not X-Men or Fantastic Four, but we're gonna make a dope movie and y'all are gonna enjoy it. And I think they accomplished that task.
I, I think it was more like the Guardians, 'cause when the Guardians came out, no one, I mean, who read Guardians of the Galaxy that much?
Yeah, well, what I
Nobody
mean
really.
is they're beloved now. All the kids
Yeah.
love Baby Groot now and stuff like that. Like, and they're just
But
they're kind of they're all disposable delinquents, like they called them in all the promo media. And a lot of people didn't like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. So people didn't like U.S. Agent's first on-screen appearance. A lot of people didn't like Ant-Man and the Wasp. Didn't like Ghost's first on-screen appearance. A lot of people didn't like Taskmaster's first on-screen appearance, so on and so forth. A lot of people didn't like the Black Widow movie, so their goal was like, we're the misfits and we're gonna make a good movie one way or another. And I think they accomplished that personally.
or
And
basically saying, I was gonna say, basically saying something like, these characters aren't shit. They just didn't have, a big enough role, or or stuck within parameters of that movie.
yeah, so my final review, I would give this an 8, a fair 8. I think it's a solid movie. It's a good action flick. It's a great, like, about to set the summer off, spring flick. It's probably, I like it more than Captain America Brave New World. I'm going to give it an 8. Mac, what's your score, dog? An 8. He's giving it an
I give
8.
it an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bird dog?
8, 8, 8.
Eights across the board. Okay. Dr. Torque, if you're still in the chat, what's your score out of 10? Let us know. Penny, if you're still in the chat, let us know your score out of 10. Hop in the chat. Let us score this and we'll pop it on screen real quick. But yeah, I thought it was dope. I got no complaints. I would say go see it. If you're a Marvel fan, absolutely go see it. If you're, you already seen Sinners, you're looking for something entertaining to go see. And if you even previously enjoyed Marvel movies but haven't really enjoyed them since Endgame, I would say go see this, because it's almost return to form for Marvel all the way live. So y'all got any closing thoughts? Any closing thoughts, Spider Mac?
We didn't discuss the Fantastic Four spaceship.
Oh,
Where was it coming from? Where was it going?
I
Where was
like
it coming
that.
from? Dr. Torque gave it
8.5,
like we
Dr.
didn't discuss
Torque.
none of that.
Penny gave it an 8. I'm glad you brought that
Penny.
up, Mac.
It looks like, does it look like it was returning from somewhere? It was going back hauling ass from somewhere. Not
No, it's coming into
or
Earth.
maybe
Yeah,
it was leaving Earth.
Well,
the
yeah,
dimension or the
there was
Who knows?
two end credit scenes, right? The first one was the new Avengers end credit
Yeah.
scene, where they find out that Captain America from the Brave New World, Anthony Mackie's Captain America, is like trying to copyright and trademark the Avengers brand name, right? So they're getting, so you got Yelena and Bucky going, fuck man, he's copywriting our name. You know, would you believe it? So, and it's funny because Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or Bucky Barnes and Sam, you know, they've always had this dynamic. You remember when Bucky asked like Sam to move his seat up, and he was like, "No," you know, when he was sitting in the back seat of the car. So
Yeah.
they've always kind of had a little rivalry. It's cool to see that that's going to continue with their Avengers branding. And then you got the final post credit scene, right, which was something's entered their atmosphere, right?
Yep.
And you get the close up shot of the Fantastic Four, the same rocket you've seen in the Fantastic Four trailers, entering the MCU atmosphere, which we know is a different Earth.
Yeah.
So I guess my question for y'all is it the Fantastic Four on that ship, or is it Doom?
Could be all of them.
I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. I think it's the Fantastic Four personally, but
I think it's the Fantastic Four coming for help.
oh, and you forgot about this.
What did we forget about?
After they got their powers back, that's what you mean? We
No, I'm just
didn't mention
I'm just saying they were leaving their
Red
Earth for
Guardians
some
talking
reason.
to that lady holding up the box.
I didn't hear a word he just said. He does that all the time. What'd you say?
I said the Red Guardian in the grocery store with his box of cereal. That was part of the end credits, wasn't it?
Yeah, where he put the box of cereal next to his face and the lady still didn't recognize him and dropped the cereal off down the aisle. She didn't want nothing to do with his Wheaties box. Yeah, that's what I say. He was funny as hell in this movie. But yeah, the Fantastic Four scene, like, I'm kind of with Bird on that. What if Doom's on the ship with the Fantastic Four? Maybe, you know. But I imagine it's just them escaping the certain doom that Galactus brought to their Earth. And I have a feeling maybe Doom is like blaming Reed Richards for that universe's collapse, you know. Dr. Torque has a question for Spider-Man.
Oh, it's real easy. I just, go up in that joint.
He just sticks his finger
Right
in the mask material all up in the nostril hole.
Just go up in that joint, son.
He turns the mask inside out, and washes it later to get all the boogers off. That is disgusting, Spider-Man.
Exactly. That is exactly how he is now, bro.
That is.
Oh, that is hilarious. That was a good question. Good question.
Yeah. Which one? The one about the Fantastic Four ship, or the one about the boogers in your mask?
What about the Fantastic Four shit? Not how do I
Okay. All right, y'all. I want to thank everybody for coming out, checking out Yo Hero. I hope y'all like the movie. We really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen our first impressions video, check that out, because we just put that out last weekend, and we actually brought the camera out, and we was all on location together watching the movie. We had an absolute blast. We're going to be doing a similar thing in July, hopefully for Superman, guaranteed for Fantastic Four, but I'd like to, I told Mac and Bird, I'd like to double up that month, go see Superman and Fantastic Four, do first impressions, do reviews for both of them, sit down with the crew, sit down with, all our subscribers and chat about it like we did tonight, because this is a blast to me, for real.
Oh, yeah.
All right, y'all. So we'll be back, real soon on Yo
Hero.
you got to hit him with the web, Spider Mac. Hit him with the hero.
Yeah.